Donald Trump hasn't been black. He will never be black. He doesn't understand what it's like to walk in the black man's shoes. And if he ever did, he'd realize that those shoes are too big and way too uncomfortable for him to wear for a day.
What was that about?
His name is Ryan Clark. I had no idea who he was until he made the following remark we are about to listen to. I was thinking to myself, I'm like, I can't believe this guy. I can't believe this guy. This is a bad introduction, okay? A bad introduction to the man. I'm pretty sure there's a lot more than what I know.
Folks, he's hearing that black folks find him relatable because what he's going through is similar to what black Americans have gone through. He wasn't lying. He was telling the truth. When you see the law enforcement, the court system and everything else being exercised against him, it is something that black folks throughout this nation can relate to with some of our historic, iconic figures. We've seen that happen throughout society. So no matter what race, what ethnicity you may emanate from, we relate to you when you're suffering like that because we know we have. And that's what he articulated.
But the remarks that he made about Stephen A. Smith's comment regarding Donald Trump was like, is he serious? Anyway, let's take a listen to this. I'm going to stay out of the way. This is disturbing. Let's take a listen.
Respect Stephen A. and the platform that he's built, but I respectfully disagree with him here. First off, let's talk about the simple statement that black people can relate to former President Donald Trump based on discrimination by the judicial system. He's not being discriminated against. Nope. What Donald Trump did was make bad decisions. And because of those bad decisions, he's now been investigated. He's now been accused, alleged, and then now prosecuted. The one thing that black people can't relate to is having these run-ins with the law and being the president of the United States of America. We couldn't be the president of the 4-H club if we had this many run-ins with the law. We couldn't be the president of our own HOA. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's one thing that we need to get out and be very clear on. Also, when you agree with this, you're allowing him to break us down to the lowest common denominator. So you're saying all of these black people who now seem to support you only support you because they connect with you on your run-ins with the law, or only support with you because they connect with you on sneakers. So why can't we connect on diversity, equity, and inclusion? Why can't we connect on better medical care? Why can't we connect on focusing on the mortality rate of black mothers? Why can't we connect on better schooling in the minority communities? So you mean to tell me you think so low of us that we can only connect with you because you've been indicted? We can only connect with you because you made ugly gold tennis shoes? And I think that's so insulting to even allege that that could be true. And let's really be clear. Nothing about Donald Trump's existence is black. Donald Trump can't speak to the black existence. He can't speak to the historical prejudice and discrimination that black people have faced. Donald Trump has never had to get that talk from his mom. This is the way you deal with authority. This is the way you have to be outside the house. Donald Trump's parents never had to worry about will he or will he not make it home based on the color of his skin. See, the only discrimination we understand, the only run-ins with the criminal justice system that we get is that sometimes you are prosecuted, sometimes you are pulled over, sometimes you are searched based on being black. That's not something we could control. That's not something we were in charge of. That's who we are. Donald Trump has been investigated and indicted and on trial for who he is for making bad decisions. And let's be very clear about one more thing. Donald Trump hasn't been black. He will never be black. He doesn't understand what it's like to walk in the black man's shoes. And if he ever did, he'd realize that those shoes are too big and way too uncomfortable for him to wear for a day. And so I think as the support seems to grow for him in certain black communities, we have to be smart about why that support is growing. And we can't attribute with our acknowledgments or with our agreements that the lowest common denominator of us is that we all relate and have an affinity for those who break the law, because that's an untruth.
This was worse than a torture chamber, to say the least. One word, victim. Another word, insufferable. Another word, fanatical. You can't be this foolish. You cannot be this foolish. I had to look up who this man was about. And I'm in no way condemning the entire man, but his perception is very twisted. Let me explain to you what I mean. You cannot tell me this is the perception of a black man in America. Why is this such a bad thing? Who is Ryan Clark? And I had to ask the question. I'm going to listen to what Smith had to say, responding to some of the claims made about him. But before we listen to him, Ryan Clark, who are you? Ryan Terrence Clark. Okay. He's an American former professional football player who was a safety in the National Football League. He played college football for LSU Tigers and was signed by the New York Giants as undrafted free agent in 2002. Clark played for the Pittsburgh Steelers and for Washington Redskins. Okay. This is very interesting. What is his net worth? $2 million annually. Okay. This is good to know. And I had to look at some videos. The lifestyle of Ryan Clark, net worth 2024.
But by mid-season, the Giants released him and signed him to their practice squad, where he remained the rest of his rookie year. Chaz Michael. February 18, 2015, Clark announced his retirement from the NFL. He signed a one-day contract with the Pittsburgh Steelers to ensure he retired a Steeler.
So this is Ryan Clark and his remarks about Stephen A. Smith and what he said about Donald Trump, which I thought was wild. Stephen A. Smith had to say a few things about some of the pushback that he got.
I love how y'all pick apart me on Hannity. I was on Cuomo on News Nation an hour earlier. I ain't hear nothing about that. I was on MSNBC at least twice over the last month. I ain't hear nothing about that. I was on CNN, Abby Phillips, Laura Coates, several times. I ain't hear nothing about that. I've repeatedly said, I think Trump will cause civil war in this country. I can't vote for the brother. Y'all just going to ignore that. Why am I bringing all of this stuff up? Because the second black folks find somebody from our community that doesn't march 100% lockstep with one another, they a sellout. They this, they that. Shut the hell up. Shut the hell up. This is getting ridiculous. Okay? Trump is winning. Y'all just...
Yeah, I mean, he went off and kept on talking. I'm in no way defending him. I think he's also not any person that I will sit here and at his feet when it comes to anything, when it comes to politics of any sort. I think he plays the game too much, but let's just leave it alone. So let's look at what these numbers are showing, right? And this is coming from Newsweek, of all people. Newsweek is saying this. What are they saying? Donald Trump poised to win more black votes than any Republican in history. More than any of them. Wow. It's been said Joe Biden attracted 92% of the black votes in 2020. That means 8% went for Trump. That is an extremely low number. But guess what? The world is changing. Oh, the world is changing big time. Look at this. Black voting turnouts has slightly increased in presidential elections from 58% 58.5% of eligible voting population in 1964, the earliest election for which such figures are available, to 58.7% in 2020. According to Statista, this means if Trump wins more than 13% of the vote share, he will gain the highest proportion of black votes since Nixon in 1960, more individual black votes. These are the facts. Even Stephen A. Smith had to read the articles showing how many of the black votes and how many people in how many other articles are saying the same thing.
5 polls, count them, 5. Emerson, NBC News, Daily Kos, New York Times, and Rasmussen, all big national polls had Trump leading over the last few weeks. Plus, according to 538, recent local polls also put Trump ahead in battleground states. He's up 6 points in Michigan, Arizona, and Georgia each. Insofar as Trump gaining support in the black community, well, how about various publications with these headlines? The Chicago Tribune. This time, Trump really does seem to be making black voter inroads. Why? The Washington Post. Voters of color are shifting right. Are Democrats doomed? How about the New York Times? As black voters drift to Trump, Biden's allies say they have work to do. Axios wrote, Big Biden bummer. New York Times Siena poll shows gaps with key demographic groups. Wall Street Journal. Biden loses support among black men. The Hill. Biden losing support among black voters in swing states. Survey. Al Jazeera. Why are black voters backing Donald Trump in record numbers? And CBS News. Black voter support for Trump up from 4% to 23%, poll finds. Why did I say all of that? Because I want to show you I didn't just open my mouth. I read, I listened, and I've seen a momentum shift, as we all have. Anywhere I appear, no matter my subjectivity relating to what I feel, is still going to be based on facts being presented into the stratosphere.
Here is a video for you of black conservative. People can say whatever they want to say about Trump, but this is the reality. This is the reality of what they're thinking. Listen to this.
Donald Trump is here at the Black Conservative Federation in South Carolina, where he's doing outreach for the minority vote at a time that President Biden is hemorrhaging those same voters.
I was like, hey, I got to come out and support our next president.
I'm here supporting Donald Trump and, of course, all that he's done for the black community.
I like what Donald Trump represents.
I agree with most of his business tactics.
I'm excited to be here with everyone and to be a black conservative.
I love President Trump. I've had the opportunity and the pleasure to get to know him, and I was supporting him as part of his Black Voices for Trump, so very honored.
I support Donald Trump, so I want to hear his message and support. But the other thing is, it was about inviting people who have never heard Donald Trump before. So I brought a bunch of folks from North Carolina who are on the other side of the aisle who have never been in a room with Donald Trump so that they can hear the message and bring it back to their folks.
I feel Trump is gaining more black supporters because people are opening their eyes. They're realizing that a lot of the other political from the Biden administration is a lot of smoke and mirrors.
I really think it's working. I think it's working. And from the looks of it, yeah, it looks like he has a lot of support here. I'm supporting him for sure.
He's not a racist. I feel that he is very relatable to our community.
Black people don't discount you because you're a Democrat, and they don't discount you because you're a Republican. They hold you accountable for what you say you're going to do.
So a lot of us are, I want to say we're waking up from the political veil that's over our eyes. We're waking up.
Well, from my family, they're predominantly Democrat, but they're tired of what's going on. They're tired of not being put first.
President Biden hasn't done anything for the black community.
He's not doing his job in supporting our people. We find it very beneficial that if you're going to take care of our community, you have to take care of our community and not take care outside of the community of other countries when we have enough going on within our political standard.
Not many promises were made, but there were things that he said he was going to do, which opening the border for an invasion is not one of them. That is an attractive suit.
You know, if you're a single parent and you work 2 jobs trying to make ends meet, you're paying for daycare, you're taking your kids to school, it's very upsetting that, you know, people who are illegal immigrants, not following the proper procedure with immigration and going through the normal channels, but you're skipping the line.
Donald Trump, if we even look at his history before he was the president, he had lots of connections in the hip hop community and business and things like that.
It's been outstanding, you know, very impressed with all his work, and we're here to bring him in. We need him, we want him, and we're happy to have him here.
We'll see in November 2024 which leading candidate garners the most minority vote. Here from Columbia, South Carolina, I'm Abinti Korshi with the Washington Examiner.
So this is what black people think, right? They're not being emotional. They're not claiming victimhood. They're not crying racism. You know what these people have in common? Some common sense. And they believe in policies. They're not looking at skin color, they're looking beyond skin color. They refuse to subject themselves to the perspective of the media. And they don't care about the label that they receive because of the color of their skin. They're saying they're gonna look at the policies. What is best for the country? What works for my community and my people? What works for America as a whole? This is what they see. When you are a grown up and you can make decisions for yourself and you know good from evil, decency from rhetoric, truth from error, when you have a family, when you have children, when you have bills to pay, you start thinking like a conservative. You start thinking like a conservative. When you are a Christian and you care about Christian values, you start thinking like a conservative. When you care about the livelihood of your children, the condition of the economy, you start thinking like a conservative. Now, I'm in no way saying the Republican Party is it. I think many of these, the establishment Republican, I'll be honest with you, they are not that different from the Democrats. But I will say, MAGA is a whole nother party in itself. This is America first, people first, our country first type of party. And I love that. Not that I agree with everything that's in there, but I love that. Then what the Dems are offering, then what many of the established Republican are offering. This is the fact. Going back to this man, his remark about Donald Trump. This video that we just watched alone.
Only support with you because they connect with you on sneakers.
That's not true. And again, these are the deception here. And again, I can debunk so many things. Some people can relate to that. It's not just because, you know, but again, when you're a black man in this country, football player, former football player, millions of dollars, beautiful family, and you still crying racism, there's something wrong with you, man. There's something wrong with you. I'm not saying there is no racism in this country. It does exist, friends. It exists. But to say that these guys are experiencing racism on a day-to-day basis, they are lying. To say that you are a victim of what exactly? You live in a country that had made you billions of dollars because you can run around a leather ball. Are you serious? And you complaining about racism? You live in a country where you can worship God however you want. You can worship a tree as far as Americans are concerned. You can be an atheist. You can be a Christian, a Buddhist. We don't care. And you crying racism? You live in a country where you have a beautiful family. You have hope for the future. You can make something with yourself in this country. Yeah, we're not the best things in the world. We are not sinless. I get that. But boy, I'll tell you what. as a Haitian descent, me say, I love me some Haiti, man. I cannot go to live there. You know what happened to you? They'll kidnap you at the airport. And they will send a bill to the family. They will send a bill to my wife over here. She will have to sell everything to get me back. And sometime even after she sells everything and give the money, they still take you out. This is a common practice in Haiti. I'm not saying this to scare you, but I'm telling you, you have no idea how secure you are, how protected you are, how loved you are, how privileged you are, how much you can do in this country. Even with all the issues that we have, it is still better to live here, friends. I'm telling you. I can tell you stories. I can tell you stories, friends. I have a cousin who came from Haiti. Listen, he suffered PTSD. Like, he was sick for the first 2 months. Listen, we had to rub his head and say, brother, it's okay. It's okay. You are in the United States now. You can let go of the trauma. He's waking up having nightmares. He was walking down the streets not knowing where he was going. He was found in different places weeping and crying. When they asked him, why are you doing this? What's going on? The things that he saw with these eyes. He says, tell you something. When you don't know, you don't know. And I think it's when we lose these freedoms that we take advantage of in this country. That's when we're going to realize how great of a nation the United States are. You see, the people who love Donald Trump, they realize they want to conserve because they understand if we lose what we have here, we are done. You know, let me say something. One of the things that I see behind a lot of the victim mentality, one of the main things that I notice is a lack of faith. It really is. Because in the Bible, if there was a man who had reason to be a victim, his name was Job. He had a lot of reasons to be a victim. Lost his health, lost his children, lost his business. Satan attacked him. His friends despised him. He was being blamed for so many things. Even his wife says, curse God and die. You know, when I read the Bible, you know one thing I never noticed him doing? Claiming victimhood. Now, he complains about his situation. He never blamed God. He never stopped trusting in God. You know, let me read this to you and I'm done. I don't want to keep running my mouth. I hope people realize, I hope people realize how great of a blessing it is to live in this country. When we are told Job arose and rent his mantle, shaved his head, and fell down upon the ground, this is after the devil has already stripped him of so many things. Lost his family, lost his children, lost his business. You understand? And his health is about to be attacked. Look what he says next. Naked came out of my mother's womb, naked shall I return. The Lord give and the Lord taketh away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. That's not a victim. That's a victor. Look what he did next. Look what he did next. When his wife cursed him and so on. Listen, man. He says, we can expect evil from the Lord too. That's okay. I'm not going to curse God and die. Look what he says. Though he slay me, yet will I trust him. But I will maintain my own ways before him. You know the saying that goes like this? Hard times create strong men. Strong men create good times. Good times create weak men. And weak men create hard times. And that's what we're looking at. Because we are so privileged in this country, we're having good times, things are well, we have nothing to complain about. This is why a person like Ryan Clark speaks like that, claiming victimhood. You know why? Because it's good time, my man. It's good time. You have it too good, man. When you have it too good, you start complaining about the little things in life. When there are real issues in the world, you overlook. And the privileges are in your face. You don't show any level of gratitude. That's not good. Much more could be said about this, friends. Share your thought and perspective with me. I want to hear from you. Do you like this reaction video? Like and subscribe to the page. Click the bell icon for more if you enjoyed this. Let's have the conversation below. Until next time, have a good one.